Good morning to you all. I am having a hard time this morning trying to do this video with you all this morning. I was going to have a conversation with you this morning about a young lady. I was going to have a conversation with you this morning about, I don't know what's going on right now, but anyway, I was going to have a conversation with you about a young lady by the name of Sade Robinson who was killed by a person she met online that she went out on a date with, and this man ended up unaliving her. He ended up taking her body parts and dismembering her, okay, and dumped her body parts in all different places. A real sadistic murderer. um, I saw it last night, and I said, this is something I need to talk to warn young people out here that do find themselves going out on dates online and without keeping in communication with your loved ones, especially when you're single, you living by yourself, and you just starting out in the world. You have to be very careful. This Sade Robinson, if she was more selective of herself, and I say this because we living in a different world today, and I keep telling people we live in a world that is very, very virtual today, and everything people put online, people put on the internet, people share on the internet, and people out here, we don't know who they are. They can be working for whoever, and they can find your information and looking it up or whatever. So you have to be very careful. So my story with today was going to be about a young lady by the name of Sade Robinson, who was dismembered by a guy she dated online. But before I get into that conversation, let me go into our Father's prayer with you this morning. Our Father, who are in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who have trespassed against us. Lead us not into temptation, but Lord, deliver us from evil, for thou you are the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen. Okay, so what I'm going to share with you today is about another horrendous crime that took place in let's see, I'm gonna try to figure out what state it was in. I can't show it to you on the video right now. I don't know what's going on, but I'm having some problems right now. Good morning to everyone who's here. Good morning, Des. How are you? I'm glad to see you this morning. How are you? um I remember when online dating first came out, when people were starting to get on the internet and start dating. It was just something I never felt safe about. At that time, I did have a roommate, and she was online dating, and I told her like this. I said, look, be careful with these men you meeting online, because she was going through some stuff. She was going through a separation of a marriage, and she was also a single mother with two young children. Yeah, she was a single mother with, yes. I hope people will come in and listen to this. And she was a single mother with two young children, and she had to carry a whole big house by herself. That's why I was there to be her roommate, so I can help her out, and somebody could be home with the kids as well. That she don't be home leaving her children all the time alone by themselves. She had a son and a daughter. Still in all, she was dating these men online, and I told her that's a dangerous thing. You don't know these men, and anything can happen to you. Blase, blase, blase. So I just warned her about it. So anyway, this story is about a young lady named Sade Robinson who was pursuing. She was getting out on her own. She was starting to work. She was working two jobs, and she was going to school to go into the study of. She was studying. I think she was studying some sort of um political science. And this happened on April 1st, I believe. I'm looking at it. It happened in Milwaukee. It happened somewhere in Oklahoma. I mean, I'm sorry, it happened in Minnesota, Milwaukee, Milwaukee. Young lady was just starting out her life and everything. I think she was going into some sort of yeah, she went on a date with a sadistic psychopath, and he dismembered her body and he dumped it. It was in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. She was. I'm trying to figure out what she was studying, but anyway, she was working two jobs. She was just starting out in life, and these young people, as soon as something come out, they want to be so marketable, I guess you want to say marketable, or either updated on a lot of stuff, and they got to keep up with time and events, and they got to keep up with the new gadgets and the new way of doing things, and they want to follow everybody in the new way lifestyle. Oh, your lifestyle is outdated. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. This is what's going on right now. This happened in 2019. Okay. She went to the Riverside University High School. That's where she went, and she went to a technical college and achieving her associate's degree in criminal justice. That's what she was studying, criminal. All right, this happened in 2024. That wasn't too long ago. Last year, April 1st of 2024, this young lady, she goes on an online dating thing with some gentleman, when I wouldn't call him a gentleman, with some sadistic psychopath, and he ended up dismembering her. Sade happens to have been a young black woman, and this happened to be some white boy that she met online. She met him in a place. They text each other to meet up in a place where they could go and sit down and have some dinner. And after dinner and everything that evening, when she left, of course she drove her own car meeting her date, but somehow or the other, he ended up using her car to he got her to drive over to his place, and she goes over to this man's place. I guess she felt comfortable enough that he wasn't going to do anything to her because he was probably a white boy. Her reasons for going out on a date on with a white boy, I know I just wouldn't do it. Okay. I wouldn't do it. I think I'm a lot more safer being with the brothers than I am with any of the others. You got to understand something. People don't understand that yes, we are all a part of the human race, but we all have our different habitats, our different nature about things, and it's just things that's just about us that are different. Just like when you go into the jungle, yes, the lion, the leopard, and the jaguar, the what else, the cougar, they all felines. They all belong to the feline family. They all cats, but there's a different nature about all of them. There is something different. They all felines. Like I said, the lion, the leopard, the cougar, the panther, and the jaguar. They all belong to the feline family. But still in all, they're different. And that's the same way you got to see the human race. We are all from the human race. The cheetah, yes, the cheetah, they all got something different about their habitat. It's something different about the way they hunt. There's something different about the kinds of hunting they do and how they hunt. There's something different on how they all live together in their habitat. Okay? And that's the same thing we have to learn as human beings, that some people just got a different kind of nature. You know? Yes, God made us all in his own unique way. God made us all, fashioned us all in a unique, but you have to be careful about the nature. There are certain animals like the chimpanzee, the monkeys like the chimpanzee. They all monkeys, but they all different. They all got different diets. They all got different foods that they eat or whatever. Just like in the dinosaurs, the historic animal kingdom. The historic kind of animals. They all ate differently. Some was carnivores and some was vegetarian. Some of them just didn't eat nothing but meat. Some ate meat and some ate nothing but trees and leaves and maybe some other type of things. So why would you? This is just showing you that you not being aware of the world you live in. That these people have some animal instincts about them. Our nature, yeah, we kill or whatever you want to say, kill or be, killing people. But one thing about black people nature is that we're very kind, we're very loving, we're very, accepting of others and all of those other things. And that's probably why some of the things that happen among some of us hurt us more than how others will feel about it. And people are always attacking our nature. Some people are always attacking us and pushing us to the very to a certain place where sometimes we don't want to go, but they bring it on. They bring that kind of nature on. But what I'm saying about this young lady, she meet this first date, she goes out with the sadistic psychopath, and he murders her, and he takes her body parts, and he dismembers her body and puts it in all different places. That when he dismembered her, her family could not even find all the parts of her body, her head, her torso, her arms, her legs. Body parts was. Good morning, Frankie. How are you? I'm glad you did catch me, Frankie, this morning. Yeah, so I was messing around with this thing this morning, so it kind of messed me up of pulling up the video on what I want to show you about this young lady. But it's just that I know a lot of young people, women, you get lonely out there. You gotta excuse me, I'm drinking coffee. You get lonely out there and everything, and you want somebody to cuddle up with, or you want somebody to date or whatever. And sometimes the peer pressure is on you. Sometimes women be like, girl, you got to go out there and get something. Or you got to get a man and you got to get that. But you got to also understand that if God wants you to have a man in your season, he will send him to you. You don't have to go out there looking for him. Now, I know we all been there. We all did some stupid things now. We all back in the days when I was coming up. Back in the, I could say 80s and 90s, that's my time when I was like being a young woman and out there still trying to find my true love and soulmate, just coming out of a broken marriage, you can say, and my marriage ended. So I wanted to try to find myself again. Remember, y'all, I got married very young. I got married in the 80s. I got married in 1985. I was a much younger woman. But we didn't do the online dating thing. And we didn't do the thing where we went out there looking for them. I didn't go out there looking for them. Yes, I went out to have fun and everything with my friends and do silly, stupid things, but I never went out looking for boyfriends. I never put myself in that kind of position. I always kept myself in a very innocent, delicate way. And even when gentlemen approached me, especially if I knew they were much older men, they didn't get no attention from me. But I've been in some dangerous places before. But the nature of people were different. People, young adults, were different back then. You went out, you had fun. Yes, you was probably in some danger, but not like how it is today. At least you would have been able to go to a place and get into a fight and still come out alive. You know what I'm saying? You didn't have to worry about being stabbed up. You ain't have to worry about being shot. You ain't when you went to school, you got into a school fight. You ain't have to never worry about nobody pulling out a knife and and taking it and putting a knife into your heart or whatever. Or getting sliced up in the bathroom like that young man. People fought, but they didn't fight as dirty and as for the kill like they do today. The nature of people today are different. Why they give different like that? Maybe it's because of the internet. Maybe because of the things that are shown on the internet, sometimes synthesizing people to become these monsters, to become this angry and this ignorant and this crazy and mental illness and all that other crazy stuff. But anyway, like I said, this young lady met her death, her demise, dating someone online, and he ended up dismembering her body. And of course, we see this stuff going on all the time. And if you notice, if you look at the nature of young people today, they don't value nothing. They don't really value anything. They disrespectful. And then look at the mothers today. Look at how these young adults are being raised today. Look at the parents. You got mothers out there partying with their daughters like they still young, hanging out in places with their kids where they shouldn't be, still going to clubs and partying and wearing tattoos and piercing their bodies. And you can't tell the mothers from the daughters today. Everybody want to stay young and beautiful. Everybody wants their body to be out there, and everybody want to show some of their flesh. Everybody want to go get a big booty. Everybody want to put more body parts on them, like get enhancements done to them, get their bodies snatched and everything. Just can't be satisfied with their natural beauty anymore. It don't got to the point now people want to turn into AIs. You know, characters of AI and stuff. They want to enhance their beauty that way with AIs, and you got all this filter going on for not your natural look in a photo, but as a photo that has to do a little airbrushing, a little this and a little touches that. If you look at today's world, nobody wants to be truly who they are. And that's why the internet is dangerous. And that's why when you doing things on the internet is dangerous because you don't know who you talking to. You don't even know who you going out with. When they on the internet, some people ain't gonna tell you, I just want my two front teeth. I know that's right. I know that's right. You know what I'm saying? People just don't want to be who they are. They get on here, they talk their Christians talk, like myself. And I am a true hearted Christian. In my, I wouldn't say in my own way, but in a way where it protects me. In a way that it protects me, how the Lord protects me. In that sort of kind of way. Because a lot of times people don't even want to read the Bible. Only time they want to read it is when they're going through something, when storms are in their life or whatever, or they don't want to read it on a daily basis. I remember coming up, the elders in my family, the ones that raised me. I say the elders because my mother, her aunt, and it was a family thing like that. We didn't come around being disrespectful to our elders, and we knew who our elders was because they let you know. They let you know. They they didn't have no problem of correcting your behavior, no matter if your mother was there or not. You was doing something wrong. They said something to you and your mother at the same time. That child over there doing that. I don't like that child touching my stuff like that. And your mother just had to deal with it and tell you, don't touch that when you come in people's house. You used to have to go to the store for your elders. Go see if Miss So and so. I remember. This is how the love was poured into us as children when we were young. We didn't mess around with child care centers and stuff. It was somebody that was home all the time. It was just that way back then. It was just that type of way. If you went out on a date, that character had to show his face to the door. You just couldn't walk out and just go out with anybody and nobody got a chance to see who he is or know anything about him or what his family do or know something about their family. These days, people let their kids just run out there with anybody without their parents' consent. And one thing my mother always used to say to me, and my grandmother, you be careful who your friends are. That was mainly to, oh no, don't follow the crowd. Those things were poured into me. That's why when I talk to the young people out here today, they got their face turned up. And I'm talking about some of them in my family too, as well. They could be very disrespectful, very rude. Don't even check on you. Don't even come and see about you unless they want something. I don't play those games. I do not play those games. I had a family member who I told you, wanted to come stay out here with me. I said, no, that ain't going to happen. Not in my house. You never was raised up. You wasn't raised in no church. You out here sleeping with the enemy and all kind of stuff. And you ain't bringing those demons in my home or around my space. I'm sorry. People, oh, that's family, but I don't know what they've been out there doing. And I'm gonna let them in my house, and then I can't really feel no peace in my home or anything because I don't know what they're capable of doing to me in my home. You can't be running out there with everybody. People got some strange nature about them. You don't know what kind of demons got in them when they was out there exploring with things and experimenting with things out there. But in those days when we were coming up, and I'm almost in my 60s, we knew who we were dealing with. We knew something about who they were, who their family was. Oh, yeah. And we didn't have the exposure of the things about people, the way people got the exposure today with all of this stuff about these women being unalived by these boyfriends or these so-called husbands, and they bringing them in their home, moving them in their home around their children and everything. No, those things were never allowed when we were coming up. Well, after my father passed away, my mother never remarried. She stayed the widow and dealt with life the way it was. You know, she might have had some men that had some interest, but my mother didn't bring them in her home, and she didn't bring them around her children like that. And my mother was a very young widow, and she was 30. When my dad passed away, my mother was 36 years old. So could you imagine being a widow from 36 years old all the way up until you were 30, I mean, until you was like 60. My mother died at the age of 66. So she stayed the widow for a very long time, almost close to 40 years after the death of my father. So you could imagine women can't do that today. They got to go out there and find a man. They got to find somebody to play that role in their life, to be the father, to replace the father of their children. This wouldn't be happening so much to these young people the way it has been happening if there was certain boundaries that were taught, if there was certain type of restrictions given on them when they were young, and the things that you should have been able to demonstrate for them when they were young. Your sons don't have to turn out running in the street, getting in gangs and turning out into some, faggot or whatever you want to call it. Your daughters don't have to be in the hands of these kind of men that are abusing them and punching them punching them around and eating off of them, taking their paycheck and starving the kids, eating up the kids' meals, and just all kind of messy things that people do today. And you wondering why your children, that you starting to bury your children so young. Start acting like mothers. I see all the nonsense going on the internet. And I'm not talking about the young people. I'm talking about older women. Married, maybe not married, but grandmothers. They still want to hang out and be young. Dating young guys, being cougars. bringing them around their household, around their children, around their daughters, around their sons. They don't only just want to rape your daughters now, they want your sons too. Some of these men just came out of prison and they got an appetite for something than the natural woman's body. And they got some mental hidden issues. But you still want to try to save him, and you're going to bring him in your home, around your family, around your children, even around your family. But you can't tell them that, oh, you old fashioned, you outdated. Yeah, let me stay old fashioned and outdated because that keeps me alive and it keeps me safe. Because it's the same God today, yesterday, and forevermore. And the God that I serve, the true and living God, he tells you when there's danger, where you go, there is danger. You have to be careful. And the Lord leads me on my path of his righteousness for his sake, to protect yourself from the danger that is out there. This young lady, Sade Robinson, could have still been alive if she was going to go meet this character, even though she didn't know him. I would have had somebody follow me on this date, make sure I was safe, get a look at this character, just in case I didn't get his license plate number and everything. Just in case something happens to me, somebody would have known who did it and could find out who did it. Even though he was found, who this man was, he was identified. The white man that took her somewhere and dismembered her. But she would have probably still been alive if she would have been able to say, you know what, I really don't know him. I'm meeting him online. He want me to meet him at such and such a place. Let me give you this information. And every time I was talking to him, I would have had my phone or even went in the bathroom and gave some type of information to somebody. Her phone all of a sudden stopped texting. She gonna follow this man to his house, and only God knows before he dismembered her what kind of drugs that he put in her food or her drink. You know, when she went to meet up with him for a drink. See, things like that. And one thing I was taught, never leave, when we used to go out to the club, never leave your drink with anybody. Okay? Never leave your drink with anybody. Or you finish that drink right there and then you go potty or whatever you have to do. But don't just leave nobody with your drink. There's people that have done that and they've been crazy to this day. Slip a Nicky in there and do all types of things to you. And a lot of times of these young women out here, they date for money. They try to think just because, oh, he's a white boy, he might got some money. And I'm safe with that. I'm safe with hanging out with this white boy. Let me tell you something. I find a nature about them. I'm just not attracted to them because I find them very scary. And I'm going to keep it 100 for real. It ain't about being racist or nothing like that, but I'm just trying to say keep it real and keep myself safe. There's just certain about things in their nature that just don't, I just can't get with it. It scares the hell out of me. Their nature is sort of kind of very demonic. I had a little girl in my classroom, and little white girl in my classroom and everything. For her to be so young and everything, her parents brought her in everything she put on, or little spooky things like gothic stuff. Her blanket, gothic, with skeletons on it, heads of skeletons, and gothic kind of outfits and stuff. And believe it or not, they love Halloween. They just love Halloween. And some of us go right along with it and follow these things out in the world and forget our culture and our nature about things that are just not about us. And we want to explore in the culture, like they kind of culture, and eat they type of foods. And I don't even barely eat out in the restaurant. I tell my sister and they be inviting me and my husband all the time, but we don't play that. We don't play that. We don't like food too much out in the street. We don't like to eat from all these different food vendors and different fast food places or whatever. Now we'll go to some fast food places like maybe like McDonald's, because yeah, we grew up with McDonald's. We know McDonald's food, but it don't taste the same way it used to when we were growing up. But we familiar with McDonald's, Burger King, and McDonald's, Burger King, and Kentucky Fried Chicken, and even Popeyes. I don't mess around with too much of these different types of food, like these Pakistani foods, Indian. Now, I'm not saying I haven't never tried it and tasted it before, but I don't mess around with it too much. I don't even mess around. When I used to buy Chinese food, the same thing all the time: chicken wings and fried rice, or chicken wings and French fries. Things that I'm familiar with. I don't do that mobo pan, boom bang gan, yang. I don't. We don't do that. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what kind of stuff is in these people' food. It even says it in the Bible. It says it even in the Bible. Even some African food out on the street and everything. These little African food restaurants and stuff. I don't mess with their food unless I'm gonna cook it myself. You don't know if you eating monkey meat, zebra meat, all kind of different diets for your diet and stuff. And now African, Nigerian, West Africa, no, Africa is a continent. Different countries in Africa. Now, when it comes to something like more like Nigerian food, I will eat it because I'm familiar with it because I was married to a Nigerian. You know what I'm saying? I kind of like familiar with the culture, the food they eat and stuff like that because I ate it. Now that I can cook that myself. I have cooked it myself here. One year we was doing celebrating Black History Month, and I did introduce my husband to some of the dishes that was Nigerian food or whatever. I was like, baby, I just want us to this is part of me. I'm sharing some of my culture, some of the things that you know were introduced to me into my Black American culture. And you believe it or not, most Africans, they don't eat too much American food. These people from these other countries, you barely ever see them sitting down in a soul food restaurant unless they looking into studying the ingredients, and mostly Chinese people, because I saw them do it in Harlem and Sylvia's. I think the Japanese or whoever, they brought out the business or whatever like that. Black people sold them their business. The Sylvia's that used to be in New York, and there's another place that used to be in New York that became is that's very popular, where a lot of soul food, chicken and waffles and that sort of food was being sold. Is down on 101 on 120. I know Sylvia's on 125th Street, and somewhere like on that area on 125th, and I think Fifth Avenue. And I remember going to Sylvia's. That's when we used to get our hair done by the African girls. That's when it was becoming popular in New York, when the Africans were doing our hair. And we used to go get our hair done and go get us some Sylvia's. No, then my friend, she had a little shop she used to work at. And I used to sit there and take everybody's order and go down to Sylvia's and pick up people's order at Sylvia's. And that was down on 125th Street and stuff. Used to be a place called Billy Jean's. We used to go get our hair done by this gay man that used to run the place. That his name was Billy Jean. God bless his soul, because he passed away. That was the hangout spot. So my girlfriend and everything, she used to work there. One of my friends, she used to work there and do hair, and I did hair too. I did somebody's hair a time before there at Billy Jean's. But I'm just saying, today is different. You just got too many different foreigners out here, and they just eating from anybody. Y'all just eating food from anybody out here. People come from a different foreign place. To be honest with you, you're really not supposed to be messing around like that. You're really not supposed to. It says that in the Word of God about eating foreign foods. And I go and find the scriptures for you. Like when the Lord is telling you stuff, when you read your Word of God, This is how you protect yourself. This is how you protect your culture. This is how you protect you. Point blank, period. Can't be messing around with all of these foreign foods. All these foreigners. Now Trump done went and made another mess for us. He done went and brought some more foreigners over here. These white people that come with this nature in them from Africa, from apartheid Africa. And, Africa, they waking up. They like, yo, white people ain't going to be coming here and taking over our land and taking over things. They are starting to wise up. So they kicked them out of Africa. So Trump is bringing them over here to America. And guess what? A lot of things that belong to us as American, foundational American people may be taken away and given over to these people. I don't think it's funny and I don't think it's cute. Because first of all, I didn't vote for Elon Musk. I didn't. And when Trump was running for election, he said he was deporting the immigrants out of this country. Some of them are dangerous. We closing our borders, blase, blah. And that should go across the board for everyone. There's no exceptions. There shouldn't be no more foreigners coming here with a new agenda and they want to be accepted into and brought into the American culture and into the American fabric here. No. If they got to close the doors to people that are not American, it should go to everyone. White, black, Chinese, whatever. Brown people. If you got to take out, because first of all, American people didn't vote for that. Our tax dollars did not say yes to that. Okay? So we not stupid. These people going to have to get back on that plane, that 747 BOA, or whatever you brought them on, and get them out of the United States. And let me tell you something. God, you can't make God a liar. That's one thing you can't do. You can play and think you can play around with man, but you can't play with God. And people on their heart believe in what you said. We not for sale. And we not going to play the game. Black people, I'm going to say this. You don't have to fear no evil, for thou art with you. Because we did not sign up for it, for this in America. Even if you voted for Trump, you didn't vote that it was okay for him to bring in those South Africaners, those white South Africaners. We didn't sign up for that. We didn't. You can't sit up here and lie to the people and got us in this mess again. They got to go back. And if they don't go back, the blood is on your hands. And what God gonna do? Them same people you brought over here, trying to fool the American people, are gonna be the same people that's gonna take you down. They're gonna be the same ones that's gonna come and kill you. They're gonna be the same ones you better be afraid of. Because that's what's gonna happen. Because the American people did not sign up for that. The American people did not. Your money cannot save you. Okay? People did what they thought was best in their best interest, and they voted what's best in their heart. And God knows everything about it. And you can't play with God. You can't get up there playing Christian and got Christians and everything, and these people giving into you. Even those people that, those farmers out here in Pennsylvania, what they call them, oh my God, the Amish people. They didn't sign up for that shit. They didn't sign up for it. And you were able to convince them to vote for you too? To run with this Trump campaign? You can't be bringing these people over here. And then trying to use ICE to get rid of the American people, the foreigners who you got going back to their country. That's not right. This should be across the board for everyone. They not welcome here. Because we didn't sign up for it. The American people didn't sign up for it. We ain't know nothing about no Africana. When you said African, we meant African. They from Africa, they from Africa. Okay? You gotta send back the black Africans, you gotta send them white ones back too. they, they not born in America, they not from this country. They gotta go back. We not aiding them. See, people don't understand how God works. When you using your wickedness in high places and you trying to fool the people. Elon Musk lying and going through citizens, having that kind of access into citizens' social securities and doing certain things to kill off certain black people and kill off people and steal their identity. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. People are not stupid. God's eyes are everywhere. God's ears are everywhere. God knows everything. And when you're trying to come up against these evil, wicked things that you're trying to do and lie and to God, not to man, but to God, these people shouldn't be coming over here. And like I said, in the word of God, when they plot evil, and God is going to come and raise the standard. If you trying to use these people to do evil to other people, to innocent lives of other people, to God's people, God going to raise the standard. People just got to believe. Don't get yourselves all scared and worked up about it. Let God do what God's going to do. And that's why I told everybody, don't get yourself all crazy on the internet with these people. Because God sees what Trump is doing, his administration is doing, and what Elon is doing, and anybody else that's part of it are doing. God will take care of it, and God don't need your help. You already know, you already see it, you already called it out. And if they try to come up against it, they are going to perish. Because you lying to the people. You can't be bringing these people over here when you said you was deporting these immigrants. And they immigrants. And take away from the good people. And bring these people over here to commit more evil. And wickedness. The evil going to turn on you. The evil's going to turn on you. Just like what I've been seeing that these poor black men are going to jail and being incarcerated. You know, they going to jail, they being incarcerated for nothing. You know, setting up this little plan. But it all going to turn on you. Okay? That's why I'm not worried about Mr. Hinton. Mr. Hinton ain't going to get no death sentence. Neither. They already did enough to Mr. Hinton. They beat that man. They did a lot of stuff, intimidation. Even the black officer that came, the guardian angel that got in the elevator with Mr. Hinton, come to find out, they fired him. They just showed that their intentions were evil. Their intentions were evil. Why is this thing keep moving like this? But anyway, y'all, I'm not going to stay here too long. But remember the Lord's Prayer. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread and forgive us our trespass as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thy art the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. And mean it when you say it. Mean it in your heart to God. Of all the evil you see coming against you, you see that it's going to turn away from you and it's going to turn back to the sender. How you doing, Boo Blast? How are you this morning? Good morning. So you got to trust and believe in that spirit that God is going to work it out for your good. Don't get yourself all worked up. Don't get scared. Don't go around here talking about you need a gun in your hand. That's why I told you I don't do guns, because those things always turn against you when you do wickedness. I'm not thinking about no wicked weapon coming against me, because it won't prosper. It won't prosper, because I'm here innocently with no weapons to do any harm to anybody. And I'm letting God fight my battle. And He will. He didn't bring me this far to forsake me. And He didn't bring you this far to forsake you either, if you're a believer. Do not get scared. Don't start acting like a fool. Like Jesus said to the men when He went out fishing for souls and everything. Those souls that they went to fish for. And those people was on the boat and they started panicking and acting crazy, and the Lord just stayed calm. Peace, be still. Because for all you know, they meant for evil to bring those Africans over here as foreigners. But who knows? They just might turn around to be our friends and be the ones to come against this Trump administration. Turn against them. Because they came here for their freedom, and they came here for a new life, and they came here for the American dream. And God might put on these people that what these people are trying to do and use them to do their evil, the evil, the turn on Elon Musk and Trump for what they plan to do to hurt. That's right. Be not dismayed, because the same wickedness that they plotting to do evil against American citizens here and to any other of the immigrants here, these people might join in with the Democrat Party and turn on them. Remember, there's what I'm telling you, the way God can use the enemy to be your friend. How God can use those same Africanos, just because their skin color is white, maybe their heart isn't. You understand? They can look white on the outside, but in the inside of them, there might be some black. It may not want to even come to do the things that they want them to do to hide their identity. They just might turn around and be the oppressed American people friends and the immigrants that are being deported. Turn around and help them out. Just might turn around and be out there too with a South African flag marching against this government. Turn against this government. Because your plan was to say get rid of all the immigrants, but you're going to bring them in and you went on your word doing that. It might turn against you. So you got to be careful about what you do. You should make it straight across the board for everyone. If that was your plan to get rid of the immigrants and to stop them from getting aided by the American government, you can't turn around and then make some kind of exception for people to come here. And you saying that you were supposed to be turning against all the immigrants, and guess what? It's going to turn on you. It can be done. And it has been done in history. You bring them to be against your government. You saying these people come in here, nobody should be coming here and doing whatever to the American flag. These people might just come in and join the Palestinians, the immigrants from the TDA, the Nicaragua gangs, and all of those people, the Haitians. They might just blend right on in with those group of people and turn against the American government. Nobody voted for Elon. He shouldn't even be in there making no decisions to do nothing. Nobody voted for that man. You can't buy America. Come the freak on. No, we ain't to be bought. Some of us didn't sign up for it. So he gonna be going right along with them. He gonna be going right along with them. Ain't nobody voted for him. It was J.D. Vance and Trump. It was not no Trump and Elon Musk. And black people gonna wake up and we gonna run this thing. And guess what? Time for us now. We woke. And all Americans gonna join together and fight against this wickedness. Ain't nobody gonna worry. It ain't gonna be about a Democrat or a Republican thing. It's gonna be an American thing, like it should be. And we gonna get them out of here. And they gonna get themselves out of here. Oh, you listened to my live yesterday, Daz? How was it? Because I didn't listen to it again. I didn't listen to it again. I want to know what it sounds like because I'm going to get myself together because I got to get out of here. Lately, we've been having a lot of rainy days. From what I understand now, the Pope want to be black. He's saying he got some kind of Irish, and I think he said he's what is his nationality again? Because somebody put it in the chat what the Pope said his nationality is. Just might that black blood just might show up in him. Even if he got a drop of it. Some of them Africanos, they've been in Africa, so they got some black blood too. Gotta be careful who you out to hurt, to harm. Because sometimes people could look like you, but they not you. They not you. Not when God's blood is running through them. They not you. When it comes to doing wrong to the race, to a certain group of people. Look how that angel showed up on that elevator. How God got that police officer and they said he got fired. I don't think he got fired. I think he was just an angel. He was a guardian angel. I don't think he got fired, y'all. I don't think that man was fired. I just think they don't know who he was. Oh, I don't think the people knew who he was. I don't even think them police officers knew who he was. God got angels. And then some mysterious lawsuit showed up for $25 million. Said we didn't know if they beat up and then all of a sudden this mysterious woman that was driving the van is missing. And they saying they only saw Mr. Hinton. God work in mysterious ways, y'all. I bet you they scared. They better be scared. They better fear God. Because something just don't sound right that he supposedly um beat up. I mean, he went after this police officer Henderson and killed him. And they still ain't released the name of the officer that shot his son or his identity. We don't know if all of that is true. Somebody saw something and somebody's hiding something and the streets are talking. So like I said, these mysterious things are going on. Oh yeah, it does. Oh yeah. Okay, let me start all over. So those of you that didn't know what's going on, I told my husband this battery came out. This battery here is just getting on my nerves. He gotta change the battery on this fire alarm. But what I'm saying is that Mr. Hinton, the day he was supposed to brought in for arraignment, when they brought him in to the when they brought him in to the station, it looked like, if you looked at him, he was out of it. Okay, the man was out of it. The man didn't look um conscious, sort of. He wasn't in his right mind. You could tell he wasn't somewhere. He didn't even know where he was. And if you notice, all throughout that time when they brought him in, that same black officer was standing outside. I don't even know if Mr. Hinton could see him. I don't know if the white people that were there could see him when he walked into that elevator. That was an angel. And I don't think those white officers could see him. Only those of us who was out watching the video could see him. You understand what I'm saying? Nobody could see that man. And all of a sudden now people are trying to say he got fired. I don't think he got fired. I think he was an angel. And he only showed himself to those who was concerned about Mr. Hinton and how they brought him in and to see some of the wickedness that they were up to doing to Mr. Hinton. I think that was an angel. I don't know if anybody ever had that kind of feeling before or anybody have ever experienced that before where somebody is saying, wow, I saw so and so, and you be like, where they at? You can't see them. You cannot see who they are. But whoever that angel revealed himself to can see him. It was in the Bible. It was in the Bible where the angel showed up and protected Lot. Remember when those people came knocking on the door to Lot and they said, send those angels out so we can have sex with them. And those angels showed up at the door. And those angels blinded the men. And Lot and them was able to get out. See, the thing is that there are angels walking around, but you can't see them. Only people going to see them is God's people. That they show their face. Now, people saw this police officer. I don't think those white officers saw that angel in that elevator. I don't think they saw him. That black man that walked in that elevator. And everybody say, oh, he was an angel. He was an angel. They could look like human beings, but they're not humans. They're angels. I believe in that kind of experience. One girl gave a testimony one time in church. I'm going to tell you two testimonies. This girl in the church said this happened in Brooklyn. It was a shootout going on. And she was walking right in the middle of fire. And while she was walking, there was another man walking right next to her. She said this man was walking right next to me. He wasn't saying a word. He wasn't saying nothing. But the gunshot, the man was shooting the gun. And she was standing right in front of the person that was firing the gun. You know, as you walk in, the person is coming from the opposite direction shooting. And she said it was a man that was standing right next to her. She didn't look to her left. She didn't look to her right. She just kept going, walking forward as these gunshots were being fired. And the man that was standing next to her, she said, then all of a sudden I got to my house and he was gone. I didn't see him again. I didn't see the man turn. I didn't see him nothing. She said that was an angel blocking those bullets. She gave a testimony. She said this man was walking right next to her and the gunshots were being fired at her. Fired, like these two men were shooting. As the guy was shooting the gun, none of the bullets touched her. She said she just kept walking and kept walking. And she said she just got right there to her house. And then when she looked, she was like, what happened to that man? She didn't see him turn. She didn't see him getting away. And he was, she said that was an angel. As I was walking, that angel was blocking those bullets from hitting me. And she started falling out crying. She said there are real angels. And then, you know, that made her believe. And then there was another testimony with this lady. She made the wrong turn in her car. I heard this testimony. And she said what happened is that she ended up driving right into this water. And she said the water was just coming up and she could not get out of the car. Then all of a sudden, she saw somebody come in the water, open the door, and she was able to get out and get to safety. And she said the person that brought her out of that water, she didn't see them. After they opened the door and she got back to safety, helped her to safety, then all of a sudden they were gone. And then that's when she said the emergency workers came and all of these other people came and everything, and she was safe. And all she could remember was somebody opening the door when she was in her car, and the car fell into, was driven. She went to make a long turn or something, and somehow or the other, she ended up in this water that was flowing up, that was coming up on the land, and her car was right there, and she couldn't get out. And she said that somebody opened the door for her, and all she knows, she was at safe bay. And she says she don't know how that happened. She said, but it was an angel. She said this testimony. That's when in the church back in the days, people would get up and give themselves a testimony. And when she gave that, first I wasn't believing her. I was like, maybe she just saying that just so whatever. But as you hear more and more testimonies about some people, about how they got saved in the water from drowning, how they walked down the street and bullets were flying at them and shootouts was going on, but they were protected and somebody was walking next to them and you didn't see the person. The person was just walking with her. So it just brought me back to my memory from talking about Mr. Hinton in that elevator. That was not no real officer in there. That was an angel dressed like an officer for the people to see him. And that thing is that now they saying he got fired. Nobody heard from him again. Nobody seen him. I don't even think those white police officers knew he was in that elevator because of the way he got in and how he looked at the camera and he looked at Mr. Hinton and he looked at them and how their heads were down and how one of them was looking like he was, with his cell phone. That was an angel. That was an angel, y'all. And from what I understand, Mr. Hinton family is supposed to have they very religious people. Sort of kind of religious people with a strong faith in the Lord. They may not look it the way you think they should look it. But from what I understand, and then all of a sudden this letter gets out. This claim against the police department gets out about the brutality and the injuries that was caused to Mr. Hinton, Mr. Rodney Hinton Jr. They said this mysterious woman wrote this document, and they saying Mr. Hinton wrote it himself. And they trying to figure out who's this woman. Then they come up with some name or some woman that had written some documents before. No, I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. I believe that document is from somebody that witnessed the brutality, somebody that witnessed some of the things that had happened to Mr. Hinton, and that angel visited him in that holding cell, and that angel wrote that in that document. I believe it's real. I believe it's real. And it's going to work in the favor of Mr. Hinton, because something that these police officers did, and I don't believe that he's the man that really ran over that police officer, because I didn't see any video footage. If that's truly what happened, why haven't they shown the video of him running the man over yet? Why haven't that video been released of him driving his SUV into that police officer, Mr. Henderson? I don't believe I don't believe that's what happened. I don't believe that's what happened at all. I believe he's being framed and he's being set up. Something in my spirit is telling me that the man is being framed and being set up for the death of that Larry Henderson officer, just so that they can have a reason to arrest him and try to give him the death penalty. Just for them to have a reason to use this kind of injustice. Just so that they can fool people, but God ain't going to allow it to happen. And to try to give him a death sentence already, when they can't even put that out there, unless the only way you can give somebody a death penalty sentence, a judge can't do that. Not unless the jurors say that, they select that. You can't give somebody a death penalty or any kind of charge that high without the man being heard on his side of the story of what happened, and he hasn't told that side yet. That's against the jurisdiction. That's against the law. And they doing everything they can to try to break the law. They didn't give no death penalty. They didn't say they was going to give the death penalty to that FSU shooter who killed those two people. That took that gunman. They never came up with a sentence with a death penalty for these people. These kind of heinous crimes that were committed in lives that they snuffed out. The gunman that shot those people in Florida State University. And then when we look back at the other white man who came with a rifle and was shooting at the police officers who brought out a raid, and then they was able to get him and arrest him and and have him alive. They didn't shoot at him. They didn't kill him because he had a gun, right? Everything is being played out in front of you. The injustice that these people are practicing is going to turn on them, and these people are going to burn in hell, and you're going to hear all the tragedy that's going to happen to their lives for the wickedness that they have put in place to try to do harm to innocent lives of people while they sit in a wickedness of power. Is all going to turn against them. Just like bringing those Africans over here, those Africanos or whatever they call themselves, those white people that came from Africa, from South Africa, bringing them over here while you trying to get rid of certain groups of people. And trying to say that these people have been refugees or these people are people that have been being discriminated against in their country, which is a lie. Which is a lie. It's a devil's lie. We know what goes on in South Africa. We not stupid about how the white people came in and invaded South Africa. We're not stupid over here. And neither is God. And you ain't going to make God a liar. God is going to show up and show out. And these same people that you trying to bring over here to do us harm are going to be the same people that's going to turn around and do the harm to you. The harm that you wished on our lives is going to be the harm that's going to be brought on your own lives. So you be careful how you try to plot evil, sit in a place of power to do harm to God's people and to hurt innocent lives. And you're going to sit up and lie in front of the people. God is watching. And God is here. So with that being said, y'all, I got to get out of here. Y'all have a blessed and wonderful afternoon or day. And if God's willing, may or may not be back with you all later on this evening with my face to the camera. So take care and be safe. Peace.